Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the CMA podcast, the CMA panel podcast, the Americas edition for April 25th, 2025. And we're going to be talking about the same thing that most people are right now, because the biggest ServiceNow conference is taking place in little under 2 weeks. And the four of us here are all going to be there. So I'd like to introduce Mark Carvin. He's a new guest, but I was in the same CMA cohort as myself, January 2023. And you all know Greg and Abhishek. So go ahead and let's do a bit of an introduction, Mark, for yourself, if you don't mind.
Sure. Mark Carvin. I'm with DXC Technology. I've been here for about 10 years. As you mentioned, Chris, I've been a CMA for coming up on 2 years now, and hopefully we'll have another announcement from another expert program in the next week or two as well. So we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome. And Abhishek, just in case someone hasn't heard of you, but that would be strange to me.
Hello, everyone. Abhishek Srivastava. I've been in the ServiceNow ecosystem for around 12 years, consulting, road mapping for customers, letting them realize the power of the platform. Looking forward on this conversation for good things about Knowledge 25.
Excellent. And Greg, last but not least, and we may have a couple others joining in a little later, but Greg, go ahead.
Yes, Greg Mest. I have 15 years, started at ServiceNow back in the day, and I've been to quite a few knowledges in Vegas. So looking forward to the discussion.
So, okay, yeah, I got some questions.
Oh, and sorry, first cohort. I guess I should say that, right?
That's right. Yeah, OG.
Like to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important.
CMA cohort.
No one has longer CMA than you, but if you have equal CMA length, I'm sure. So you said you've been to a bunch of knowledges, probably more than this is my second or third. I think my third. But did you go to the one that was hosted in Orlando, Greg?
We did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was that one different from the Las Vegas one?
Well, I mean, the main thing is two things. The conference center there is massive. Like it was like a mile end to end.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's on segways, not us, but all the workers. The other thing is just outside of the conference center, there's very little. Like, in Vegas, you can wander and be in 28 different places within 2 blocks. Right. Orlando, you just run into a swamp. So it's like finding things and getting around was a lot more challenging there. I'm sure some people really loved the fact that the final party was at the Harry Potter thing in Universal Studios.
Oh, was it?
Which had just opened, and we had exclusive access. Not my cup of tea, but I'm sure a lot of the folks there really liked it.
That's fair.
But all in all, I'll take Vegas any day.
Yeah, that's nice. We actually have a comment. Clayton Miller, ServiceNow BPC, Business Process Consultant, I'm assuming that's what it stands for. It's their first knowledge, so he's excited to listen in. Of course, everyone wants to cover, it's my first time. How do I prep? What are some advice? The first thing I always recommend is comfortable runners that are broken in already, because you will get blisters without them. One year I actually wanted to say, send a picture, tag me in LinkedIn on your blister, and the worst one gets a gift card or something. But that's kind of, that could get gross. So, because I had my heels were torn up that first time.
It's late for this now. It's late for this now, but you need to be training for the amount of walking that you need to do for it. I've been walking every day since end of January, just to be conditioned and able to do that, because it's the thing that gets you is the sheer size and scale of the whole thing. It doesn't look big until you actually have to walk. Yeah,
that's true. You get, some people say they get 25,000 steps.
Exactly.
Right.
Actually, it's going to be my 5th or 6th knowledge. Not sure, but I walk a lot. I mean, I lose a lot of weight just while walking, from one conference room to the other, to the expo, and then, roaming around the Venetian. I mean, it's huge. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, it's a good set of exercises for me. I do not miss my
Yeah.
gym while I'm away at knowledge. So
That's true. And bank on walking a far distance from your room just to get there. Right.
exactly, and
15 minutes easily.
Yeah.
easily. And one time I was at the Palazzo. I think last year only I was at the Palazzo, and from there to walk over to the Venetian, it was like an effort. The
Yes.
Venetian Tower is still better.
That's right. Yeah, it's much closer. I always try and stay in that Venetian Tower if I can. Yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, this is for sure my third then, because my first one was Palazzo 2. And
Mhm.
there was a couple of days I got sweaty just getting to the
Well,
conference.
let's
I'm like,
let's
oh my
let's talk
God.
about just some of the format, right? There's the
Sure.
Venezia Tower, there's the Venetian Tower, and then there's the Palazzo Tower. So
Mhm.
all there are three separate towers that you can go in. Each tower has a number of different wings in them as well. The Venetian Tower is still the closest, but I've been in the Venezia Tower a couple, three times as well, which is kind of the opposite end of where that is.
You
And
get
the
lost.
conference, yeah, and the conference center is right in the middle of all of it. But the hallway just to get to the conference center, it's like you've walked a great distance. You turn the corner and see, oh well, there's the conference center. It's like I got to still
Yeah.
walk that hallway.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. Once you're in the conference too, it's like another mile and a half just to get to the keynotes and all of
Yep.
that stuff. Right.
I was visiting one of my colleague at the Venezia Tower, and
Mhm.
they guided me just from the reception. I somehow reached there, but when I was coming out, I totally got lost. Uh,
Yeah.
the way to the gallows towards the rooms in the Venezia Tower, it's very confusing for me. I've never stayed there,
Mhm.
uh, but and Clayton happens to be my ex colleague at IBM. I worked a
Okay.
lot with him during one of my transformation project for one of big healthcare organization.
Mhm.
He's really good. He's really good of a BPC.
Nice, nice. Greg, are you
The
speaking at Knowledge
No,
this
I'm
year?
not speaking.
Not the,
No.
oh yeah, you do you're there the single day pass, yeah, because us
Yeah.
independents, we got to
I'll
foot that
be
bill, and that
I,
can
I
be
was
pricey.
I was going to say one other thing.
Sure.
It's not just the walking, it's also like even just finding places to sit down, particularly if you're in the expo center.
Yeah.
It's just plan on you're going to be on your feet. Whether you're standing or walking, you're going to be on your feet most of the day or a
Yep.
good portion of the day.
The
Definitely. Yeah.
worst thing is the morning coffee. You have to come down to get to the Starbucks, and if you are at the Venetian Tower, going to the Starbucks right across the expo hall, I mean, it's really tough for me. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because I am
and
like
that
I cannot step out of my room without coffee. So
Oh,
and that line gets long quick.
yes, it sure does. Yeah, so when I'm planning to get somewhere, I usually allow myself 20 minutes end to end to get there, because sometimes you're going to get lost. You might have to ask for help. Don't worry if that happens. There are tons of people saying, holding signs and stuff, I can help, or got a question or something, you can ask them. They'll guide you. Oh, you're on the wrong floor. That's always my thing. For some
But
reason,
as
I can never remember 3 is the third floor. So anything.
but you bring up a good point there, Chris, is that even going between conference rooms, because I haven't seen that they've listed where each session is.
Mm-hmm.
Don't schedule yourself sessions back to back, because you will not make it from one session to the next if you're
That's
going
right.
back to back.
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah, that's totally it. Honestly, I put 2 sessions a day max. So that's my thing. I know a lot of people want to go and maximize as many sessions as they can. That's great. That's your experience. Go ahead and do that. But like Mark says, I totally agree. You need a blank spot, at least a 30-minute window in between each session. Think of, you're gonna have to file out. What if this first session runs a couple minutes long and stuff like that, which can
Or what if
happen.
something's in the expo hall and your next one's in a room or something like that? It
That's
it,
right.
it can take you from where the sessions in the expo hall is. It can
Mm-hmm.
take you 5 to 10 minutes just to get out of the expo hall back to the main corridor.
That's
Easily,
right.
easily, totally agree. And
So what
also,
sessions are you all excited about?
I'm excited about an AI session. which I've heard DXC is doing some. They're going to announce some product based on AI.
Yes, I know. I built
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Oh, you were there. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I built
I'm
it.
really excited about it because we at my organization Genpact, we are doing a lot of finance and supply chain and procurement, SPO, LNA, life and annuity, a lot of things in that area. I'm
Mhm.
really excited to look to come into that session and see what you guys have done.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that's a nice plug there that we are happy
Yeah,
to
well,
have.
we have multiple sessions. So we're doing sessions with the insurance industry. We have a roundtable session that folks can sign up for, where we're going to sit down with folks and say, hey, what do you need to be ready for AI? What are some of those questions? What are some of those roadblocks and obstacles, so that people can feel that, hey, we're not alone in this, and we'll give them as DXC guidance of, here's what we've done and here's how we've done that, right? I'm going to speak with James Downs, who's another master architect out of Europe, and we're going to talk about how we built the COE, and how to help folks overcome that. And then we have a couple other case studies in there as well that we're doing. So I'm looking forward to that. But my problem is it doesn't leave me a lot of time to find other sessions to go talk
Yeah.
about certain things. I think if I'm looking forward to a couple of subjects, is the workflow data fabric, I think, is going to be interesting stuff. I always love listening and talking to Steve Emerson and his ITOM things. And I have a soft spot for process automation designer. I think that it is a very underutilized part of the platform, and would like to see how we can help people adopt that more.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. How about
That's
yourself, Greg? Yeah, on the Tuesday, are you looking forward to any sessions?
I mean, I'm just looking at my schedule. I always look forward to anything that's roadmap centric. I want to know what's coming. What should I expect? What do I need to be able to talk to my customers about?
Yeah.
Obviously, this year it's very AI centric. So I want to see sessions where it's not just a sales or a marketing pitch, but it's actually, what's a practical application of this AI inside of ServiceNow? What's a real business situation that we're going to solve with this? It seems like there's a lot of talk, but not a lot of necessarily. I haven't seen things actually done where you're getting real ROI out of it, and that's what I'm looking for. So
Nice.
those are some of the sessions and then anything related to products that I'm already familiar with. The CRM integrations, ITSM, like what's going on in those spaces. Just because, again, I want things that align with my own expertise.
Well, I do know they've got some of the agentic AI stuff coming out with all these different product-based use cases that I'm excited to learn about that. I don't know if I can get into that session due to other scheduling stuff, but that I know that's coming, Greg. So they have kind of heard that we need to have more detail on the use cases, and there'll be demos and showcasing.
So ServiceNow, what I can tell you, ServiceNow has been highlighting with certain partners and whatnot. There will be specific call outs through the conference of those practical use cases. I know that we're building one, and we're endeavoring to have it ready. So I can't say much more about that at the moment, but there is a very small handful of partners, DXC being one of them, that they are looking to highlight and one-offs around the conference as well.
Yep. And same thing, just to piggyback on that thought, ServiceNow brought this AI demo championship. Genpact, maybe like yours, Mike. Genpact is also a part of it, and we have built some AI use cases and some AI agents in various domains in which Genpact specializes, and we'll be showing that. So, what I got the news from ServiceNow is May 5th at 5 o'clock, they'll be announcing the winners for that. And
Okay.
yeah, so we have contested in that, and it's a beautiful AI agent what we have built in Genpact. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We should get one of the prizes in that.
Well, best of luck in that,
Yeah,
for
thank you.
sure to you. And go ahead, Mark.
Before we go off to the demo floor, because I think that sounds like it transitions well to the demo floor and all the rest of that. The other thing on sessions and all the rest of that I do want to mention to folks, particularly if it's your first time, when you're using the agenda builder, list all the favorites that you want. So maybe, because Chris, you'd mentioned there was a session that you weren't interested in or couldn't get into because it's full. Put a little heart next to that session, because in the app that you can get, they'll still let people into the room because not everybody shows up to those sessions. So if there's something you're interested in, make sure you favorite it. And then if that's something you really want to do, go to that session anyways. There's a fairly good chance they'll let you into that session, even though you don't have a reserved seat.
That's true. And that brings another point up, that if you already know you're not going to attend to a session and you're registered for it, you can go in and say, I won't be there, remove it from the schedule, which then will free up a seat so someone else might be able to go. So a little courtesy out there will help all of us get to the ones that we want, and some of the ones that we think we may not be signed up for as of today. But, day of, like Mark said, sometimes people can't make it. Maybe they had a back-to-back and they didn't get in there in time. They do close them down like 5 minutes after they start or something like that, right?
They do.
Yeah.
But in the past, I was struggling. Like Chris, you mentioned you were not able to be a part of. Even I was not able to select a session. I think it was last year or year before last.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to get inside of that session. So I just went in there right at the time it was starting, and they allowed me. Although it was totally booked, not showing anyone to register, but they allowed me. So people who are going for the first time, if there is a session you really want to go and stand in the line and explain them, they should be able to allow you.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. So
just understand that in some sessions are going to be far more popular than others, right? ITOM, CMDB, things in that area, they're probably going to be a little more booked up than the standby folks. So if it's something that you really want to be in, just make sure you're there early, right? But that goes back to what we were talking about before, is don't schedule yourself back to back, because you won't be able to get to that next session you want to get to.
Okay.
I'll say one thing, just session related, which is, if you get to a session and you realize halfway into it, it's not really what you're interested in, you can leave. This isn't college. They're not marking you absent. So if you can give yourself an extra 20 minutes by saying this is not providing me value, well, leave. Just get up and leave. It's fine.
Yep. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
So how do you all navigate the expo floor? I know that can be a bit overwhelming.
Set yourself aside 2 hours to do the expo floor, because that's the networking and everything else. And you'll get drawn in, you'll see somebody, you'll wind up talking and whatnot. The expo floor is, to me, where a lot of the action is.
Yeah, that's true.
It's weird that ServiceNow really is 3 conferences in one. There's the sessions where people are going to learn. There's the expo floor where the business relationships are made. And then there's still the executive sessions where you get all the CIOs and CEOs and talking really the high level stuff. And so my biggest advice for anybody going to Knowledge is go in with a plan. Know what you want to do. And that applies to after the conference day is over and all the rest of that. But understand where you want to do is I want to take Monday or Tuesday and I'm going to do sessions. And then Wednesday, I'm going to do the expo floor, because there's demos all over the place. I like going to a lot of the Now on Now sessions that are in the expo floors, because you get a 10-15 minute conversation with the ServiceNow experts and you learn something there that's much more direct than what you would get if you were just in one of those other sessions.
Yeah, I'm with you on the expo floor. I think for me, I get more value out of that, particularly when you can engage with folks and just listen to the stories they have. And what you're going to find is, if you talk to enough people, people are going to have been through the same stuff you've been through. And maybe they found a unique way to address that problem. Maybe they have a different way of using the platform that could open something up for you, your business, that sort of thing. So it is like Mark said, it's what you make out of it, right? It's, it's a cliche, but cliches are they're cliches for a reason, right? They're usually true. And so, don't be an introvert. You're not going to get much out of it by just being a quiet, shy one sitting in the corners of sessions and then leaving at night. Get out there and even if you're just listening, just be a fly on the wall at some of this stuff. You'd be surprised how much you can get out of that just by keeping your ear to the ground a little bit.
That's true. Yeah, some of the ones that I've had the most fun at were those roundtables where you just sit with a group of customers and they, say, here's all my struggles, here's where I'm at, here's what I want to do, and here's what I wish I could do but can't for all these different reasons. And yeah, I really enjoy the.
I think the other thing I'll say about the floor itself is that, I'm curious what the other guys think here is that I usually find more info from vendors and partners than I do from ServiceNow itself. The ServiceNow stuff is right in front, and they're obviously pushing it. But I mean, I've gone and often than not, I'll go up and say, well, what do you got and what are you showing? And it's someone who's literally been at ServiceNow for 4 months and they don't know anything. Like they know how to do their demo and that's it. Yep. So it's like, go find me some partners who have been doing this for a while who, like Mark and Abhishek, you said, you guys are building real things on the platform. That I think I like getting into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, go way into the back. Don't just look at all of the huge partner booths and stuff. Like sometimes you'll find those gems in a 2-person booth that's kind of in the back and build that relationship. A couple of the best demos I've ever seen were way in the back, right along that wall, where I think in the back behind the curtain they had the breakfast, the food and stuff. And I'm like blown away by this demo. That really does work. Oh my God. And can I see underneath? And they showed me the code and I'm like, that's beautiful, yes, but it needs to be documented. So
I mean, I know at least 2 of those, Chris, where there was literally 1 or 2 people at one of those tiny little, it's just like a half kiosk thing.
Yeah.
Their products got bought by ServiceNow and integrated into the platform. That's where the real innovation is happening. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Abhishek and Mark, of course, but just say, don't think we need to have a big booth and the smaller ones are kind of smaller fish. They are not. There's, like you said, some of them got bought.
Almost every booth has the opportunity to give a demo of some sort, whether the organization chooses to or not. Most organizations are going to have some sort of handout. Most organizations are going to have salespeople, on that booth, 24/7 and all the rest of that. But most booths also have a technical person, hanging around. And, in some cases, just leave your name. Hey, I'm interested in this, right? I had this happen to me last year. I presented with a customer last year and I had 15, 20 people come up to the booth saying, hey, I want to continue a conversation afterwards. So even if the person that you're looking for isn't there for whatever reason, the folks at the booth will be like, let me get your name, because when you go to a booth, they'll scan you'll have a badge. They'll scan your badge so that those visits are tracked and whatnot. And most organizations will be like, hey, can you come meet this person, or this person's looking for you or whatnot? And I can IM the people back at the booth saying, I'll be there in 20 minutes, or have them come back at, say, 4 o'clock or something like that. So just because you missed somebody at one point, companies are always going to be wanting you to come back and have the conversation.
That's right. Yeah. And build that connection. One of the things I like to do also is create a custom QR code and put it on my lock screen as my phone, and then it goes to my LinkedIn so that I can just open my screen, they can scan it, and they can add me to LinkedIn. That's a good way to avoid having to carry around business cards. It's just not my thing, but a lot of people have them. I don't bring any business cards home. I'll just say that. So if you give me one, it's not coming. I'm not packing it. But I will be polite and say thank you.
People still use business cards?
Some do. I was about to say that.
Some do. Some do. That's why I'm like, okay. And it's not. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, we've got. Yeah. I'm going to try Allison. She's saying, go get them. For Clayton, listen and learn from the sessions, engage with the people sitting in the room with you, look for opportunities to meet potential clients. Great feedback. Thanks so much for posting that and for helping out Clayton there. So hopefully that adds a bit more value to your first one, your first ServiceNow knowledge, hopefully the first of many. So thanks so much. And that's she's a ServiceNow Alliance leader at IBM. So thank you
Yeah.
for
All
participating and
my
joining us for this
ex-colleagues,
session.
all my ex-colleagues are joining today.
Oh, oh, so you know Allison then. Did I get the
Yeah,
name right? I hope so. Okay, yeah.
yeah, I do. Yeah.
Thank
Are they here to heckle you, Abhishek?
Maybe. Uh,
Uh,
but yeah, this is going to be the first time I'll be speaking at Knowledge. I've been trying from the past so many years to speak, but finally I got chance to speak this time. Again, it is we did APO for one of the large warehouse clubs in the US, and it was like it was one of the toughest APO implementation that was ever done in the industry. So I'm going to
oh,
talk
really?
about that along with how Genpact brings its agentic AI features with APU. So it's going to be an exciting session. I'm really excited. I've never spoken in front of so many people. So let me see how that goes.
Well, the CMA program prepares you for that. And
Yeah.
Mark, you said you're you're speaking for 3.
Yeah,
Nice.
I have the roundtable. I have our session that we're talking about, and then there's on Monday there's a session where we're talking about how expert programs helped us, in architecting solutions for customers and all the rest of that. So I'm going to speak at that.
Okay.
My feedback on that is, as an attendee, every session that you go to that you get scanned in for will show up on the app. The ServiceNow app will become your right hand for the session. Every session that you're scanned into, you'll get a feedback that you can provide to the speaker. How was the session? How did all that, how did that go, and things like that. Please make sure you're filling that stuff out, because that helps us as speakers, become better at doing this, as well. I know, Chris, you did my session last year and
Of
all the rest
course,
of
yeah.
that. And what was your feedback as an attendee and watching some of that and that experience? What's that experience like for you? Because it's easier to relate as attendees than it is to speakers.
I just tried to stay focused on the presentation, put my phone away unless I was making notes. So that was the big thing. And then afterwards, I like to have time. So the first knowledge I went to was just a ton of information overload. And honestly, I didn't retain a whole lot because I overwhelmed myself. Then the second one last year, I had deliberate breaks. So I could, that, this will spark this thought, maybe this, a couple ideas would come out of the session. I wanted to remember them. So I just made a little note on my phone in the little notes app. And then I reviewed all of that on the plane on the way back, which was a nice way to make use of that travel time. We do have a question. I know that I think Daniel kind of missed the piece of it, but he's asking for specific recommendations on the shoes. So
it's hard to, it's business casual. You will see, particularly for the ladies, I see a lot of ladies going around in the sneakers. I think anything with heels for the ladies, you will regret that from everything that I've seen and read and heard. Obviously, I don't have personal experience with that, but I would, flat and comfortable. For me, I have to do dress shoes for most of it, but I found like the Dr. Scholl's gel inserts, anything for like a construction worker that's on their feet all day, put those in your shoes. It will help tremendously. And then it doesn't matter necessarily as much, but anything with a heel, I think you want to avoid, because you will regret it by the end of day
That's
2.
right. Keep the red bottoms for the parties with the high heels. I mean, they do have red bottoms that are flats, though, but even then, I still think that might be a bit much. James Downs also is coming in. So he says it's his first knowledge. So I think he's traveling, like you said, from Europe over here, and he's looking forward to sharing the stage with Mark. he'll keep me aligned. So what's the story? Is there something in the rehearsals that's he's wandering?
Yeah, well, yeah, we've spent most of the morning today working on the presentation and all that. But James, just to call, he's a fellow CMA.
Yeah, it's great. And I think James is part of the Service Ducks podcast, if I am not mistaken. Yes. So shout out to Service Ducks. Love listening to that podcast with them. So very, very good. Okay, so now we kind of already mentioned a bit. So we've covered the sessions, we've covered the round tables, we've covered the expo floors. Now let's talk, what do we do with the nightlife piece of this? My first recommendation is pace yourself. And I like this year that the keynotes are starting at 10, not 9. Thank you.
That's
Thank
good.
you. Yeah. How do you guys manage the evening side of things?
Well, there are so many things going on. I really love to go to those glide fast parties, and then a couple of more. We just hang around with friends, and there is a nice after the parties. There is a nice Indian restaurant, the small one in the Venetian court, food court. So I hang out there. After all the party, I just go there and have some food, and then go to bed.
Yes, so definitely make sure you get your rest, because you will be tired. So you don't want to run out of gas on the Thursday and fall asleep at the Sphere, right? So
you'll be surprised at how many people run out of gas. Thursday is the day that everybody is usually.
Well, if they go to that Glide Fest party, I mean, I saw the invitation. 10 p.m. is the start time. Like, that's 2 hours past my comfy pants time. So I'm like, is there a couch I can nap on when I get there? So I may go to that one. I know I'm doing, there's an MVP thing Monday night. I get in Monday middle of the day. We had booked these tickets back in September. So sometimes there's a big seat sale. So we booked them on sale. But, next year I think I may go earlier, like may get in Sunday. And we're staying till Saturday. But
I always find it best to come in on Sunday.
Sunday's
we did that last year.
Yeah,
that way you can do CreatorCon if you want, get the badge early, all of that stuff.
My advice is still the same: is come in with a plan. So when I was at Knowledge 2 years ago, I injured my knee beforehand, and I could not move around at all. So last year when I went with a mindset of, what is one thing that I want to do and I want to see. I know, Chris, the first year you went, you kind of had the same thing. There was one thing that you wanted to do and go see. Have that in mind as you go. What is, if I never get back to Vegas again, what's the one memory I want to have to get yourself out of the hotel? Because you can spend the entire conference in the hotel and never see the city at all.
That's true.
So to me, it was, I wanted to go see the fountains at the Bellagio, right? It's just such an iconic thing and all the rest of that. So I'm like, if I don't do anything else, I'm walking down the strip so I have that memory, and I've seen the fountain show at the Bellagio. And if I never get back to Vegas again, right, Chris, you can talk about what.
Speaking of that, that runs on ServiceNow, those fountains.
Yeah,
really?
They use ServiceNow to track the fountains.
Nice.
Fun fact. Right, that's super cool, right? And who would have thought, hey, shooting water? But I guess those would all be CIs, right?
Well, now you can should we call them agents running those fountains?
Right. Well, we need an AI agent to manage these things operationally. So some of my favorite things, and we didn't have a chance to do it this year, but we try and usually go check out a magic show. So one year, who did I go? I forget who I saw the first year, but we went to David Copperfield.
Copperfield the first year.
Yeah, David Copperfield. That was a great one. I've seen him a few times in some of his tours, but I'd never seen him at MGM in his theater, which was nice. So sometimes we'll also meet up with some magicians in the area as well, if we can. Although I think this year I might have to plan a separate trip to Vegas for that, because this one seems pretty full for us.
Yeah, I was already going to mention it, and Mark set the stage, but like I mentioned earlier, Orlando versus Vegas. I mean, the nice thing about Vegas is when you're there if you're there for the whole conference, you're going to get sick of seeing the same hallways, the same Venetian setup. Go two casinos away. You can have a complete, go get a nice meal. Just escape the kind of the hubbaloo of the conference for a couple hours. It's nice, or have a show, whatever, anything, right? That's one of the nice things about the conference being in Vegas is you can escape the conference for a little bit, and do something interesting.
If I'll throw an aside in there, you never know who you run into. So last year, the event was over at the Wynn, right? The Pitbull concert was over at the Wynn. So Thursday afternoon, our group was like, all right, well, let's just head over to the Wynn and wander around the hotel and whatnot. And as we're walking through the hotel, who do we run into but Bill McDermott? So we got a big group photo with Bill McDermott.
Right,
sitting there. So you never know where you're going to run into someone. It's those random chance encounters and all the rest of that make it that memorable part.
Yeah, I remember that picture.
He was there at the Pitbull conference as well. Pitbull show as well. So I took a photo with him, a selfie with him. Everyone was pounding on him. I sneaked some time with him, but it was a really nice photo. I have to get it framed and put it somewhere.
We have a comment from Jennifer Gallego. I hope I said your name correctly. She's an experienced innovator, strategic catalyst. She's saying there's some great breweries in the Arts District.
Yes, there are.
Okay.
You guys familiar with the Arts District?
Sounds like Greg's got some art. He spent a month there one night.
Not quite. No,
go ahead.
That's an area. It's kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with Fremont Street. It was probably about a mile stretch kind of south of Fremont Street. Again, if you're just looking to completely escape the Strip and the casino world, they've redone so much of this, and so there's cool little like consignment shops, art shops, bars, restaurants. Again, just a place if you want to get away with a few friends and have a good night, but have it be a little calmer than the conference space.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
definitely an up and coming area. Yeah,
it is nice. Definitely awesome.
And don't let your time zone adjustment work against you. Right, Vegas is very peaceful and calm at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, which for European friends but for European friends coming over and whatnot, that's early morning, midday is you can get good pictures of the Strip. I know one of the people that were there with us last year has a beautiful picture of the Sphere and how it's lit up against the early morning sunrise and all the rest of that. There's moments there, so don't think that, oh, well, I got to stay up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and whatnot.
Right.
To do that. Vegas runs, it's an international city, so it's always going to have something going on regardless of what time your body clock is. Because if you try to adjust your body clock to Vegas time for the 3 days, it's not going to work out well for you.
Yeah, that's right. Unless you get there earlier, then you might have a chance to change your body clock a bit. But that's a great point. It is a 24/7 city, right? There's always something open, always something to do. Some of the best times I had were just, is it 3 o'clock? We should probably stop playing craps. Or what were we? Roulette. I was playing roulette with a friend of mine I used to work with last year. Like, okay, that's good. Got to get up at 4 hours. I also made this, I shouldn't say mistake. It was not a mistake. I did regret it, but only because I'm out of shape, or was out of shape more so then. But I went for a run on a Wednesday morning with, who was that? There's a recruiting agency out of Philadelphia. We'll tag them in it. I'm sorry, the name is slipping. But yeah, they organized this run, and they're like, yeah, we'll just go out for a nice quick little jog, something like that. I'm like, okay, that'll kind of get the blood flowing. We ended up running like 5 miles, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired, and still,
had to walk the conference.
Yeah, had to walk the conference after that. The booze is still coming out of my pores a bit, but that was a lot of fun. It did tire me out for that whole day, and then that was an early night for me for sure.
Yeah. The other thing is, it's kind of obvious if you think about it, but also then on the nightlife side, much like we were talking about with the expo. I mean, you can get into some great conversations, particularly because, like you said, there's a little social lubricant possibly happening, at these things. So another place, if you're just, looking to meet people, get ideas, hear what's going on across the ecosystem, nighttime works for that as well.
Yeah, because people are still energized, and it's a great couple of icebreakers. And I'll ask you guys each for a few icebreakers too. Is what was the most exciting thing that you learned about today? Like, and opening those conversations with people can really lead to a lot of great things at the conference. And like you said, Greg, sometimes there's social lubricant at play. It's not mandatory. I've seen, if you don't drink at all, you'll still be fine. Still go in and still talk, and the food is great.
It'll still be expensive though, right? Is one of the things that I noticed. Water, like a half-liter bottle of water, is like $12 or $13. So
yeah,
one of the first things I did last year, and I'm going to do this year, there's like a Walgreens right in front of the Venetian.
Mm-hmm.
I go on, I put the bags in the room, and I go down to the Walgreens, and I get 5 or 6 Gatorades or whatever just to last me the week, because the liquor is cheaper than the water is in most cases sometimes out there. And
that's right. And bring a water bottle if you can, right? You can always top up a water bottle wherever you are. I'm not bringing the large one that I usually have, but I will be bringing, smaller, little more portable one. I can refill it too if you're looking to not spend $20-$30 a day on water.
A day. Okay. Try an hour.
Yeah, right. It's hot. It's the desert, right? It's not the hottest time. I did spend a week in Vegas in July one time. It got up to like 123 degrees one day, and the pool was a hot tub. Like, you couldn't even go outside for that. And I'm like, oh my God, bless the people that live here, because that is intense. So okay. Well, any other things that you guys are excited for?
I'm going to be at the Pre-Con Genius Lounge.
Oh yes, let's talk about the Genius Lounge.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know what's it going to be like. Mm-hmm. But ServiceNow is coming back and asking me to prepare some small snippets to talk about how I have helped customers in the past, architectural excellence, and all those things. So it's going to be really interesting while I'm there, and people stopping by. Looking forward to that. I don't know how it's going to be, but looking forward to that.
Is anybody doing the Genius Bar? So I know that they have this Genius Bar where, that's a bit of a stretch on the naming of it, but they ask the CMAs to sit there, and it's like, oh God, well, I don't know anything about GRC. Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, I think it's
the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, because I have an email and it has all the CMAs, couple of CMAs from my batch. So they're there.
Yeah,
so that's going to be interesting.
I'm not scheduled for it, but I just rock up and sit down and talk. So it's like, okay, and then suddenly it's like, okay, that's enough. I gotta go. But the 2 hours part is cool, that you can go up and ask a CMA any question in person that you've got about the platform or about anything that you're doing. And
I know when I did it the first year we were CMAs, and we sort of divvied up in terms of what your expertise was. So a little whiteboard, and you said, okay, this is I'm prepared to answer questions in this area, and so they would funnel the questioners to the different spots.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So I didn't have to answer GRC stuff, because just no.
We do have a question from Philip Swan. How many CMAs are there globally? This is an interesting question, because they ask us not to say that, and I'll tell you why. During the CMA kickoff week, and the next one is coming up in July in San Diego, they do a little contest, and they ask this question, and I can't find my water bottle, actually. I did win it in ours, Mark. I guess the exact number of how many were in North America, but they ask us how many are globally and how many are in North America or your region. So when I was in London for the CMA kickoff week earlier this year, they asked how many are in the EMEA. So
I think we're safe to say it's less than 500.
Yes.
But
yeah, it's less than 500. That's true globally. But as far as like an exact number, if you're accepted in the program, sir, nice try. Thanks. Okay. All right. Well,
I think I'm looking forward. I think I'm looking forward to, if I can find the time. The now learning is that you can walk up and take CIS exams
yes,
without having to do the courses. If I have the chance to take advantage of that, I've been working with a couple of things that I just want to rock up and knock a couple of those out.
Actually, that's my Tuesday afternoon. So there's a CMDB CSDM brand new mainline certification coming out that they're launching at Knowledge. So I'm scheduled for that one. And then there's...
Did you beta that one? Or I thought that was still beta testing on that.
Yeah, it is beta. Yeah. And the interesting thing is they'll give the result after 6 weeks. It's not like you
don't know right away, right? It's the CMA experience, right? 4 to 6 weeks after you take the test, you get your result. So just keep us on our toes for a month and a half. And then they're also coming out with another one for business process platform owner. So I was not a part of that one, but I know someone who was, and that is long overdue. So it's the platform owner mainline certification really will help people go from CSA to platform owner, because there really was no place for them to go because all the other items are so implementation focused, as they should be. So it's interesting that the ServiceNow is branching out and certifying people in these other areas of the platform outside of implementation. I was really happy to see that. Are you guys scheduled for any exams? Are you going to take anything? It's like 255 minutes they wanted on Tuesday.
I'm doing the same one, as you. The same.
Oh, are you? Okay. So I'll see you in the room on Tuesday afternoon.
Not Tuesday. I'm scheduled for Monday.
Oh, are you? Oh, you did the Monday one.
Yeah, I'm scheduled for Monday. But there is one more interesting exam coming up. I'm not remembering. Maybe it is the platform owner one, which I was really interested in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've come out with a few new courses and more all the time.
Well, they have new AI based exams as well. I don't think that there's a CIS AI mainline out there yet, but I think that that's in process, and it wouldn't surprise me, because they're retiring APM, if that might get morphed over into enterprise architecture.
It could be, yeah. Isn't that covered under SPM still, though? Service Portfolio Management. Isn't APM kind of rolling into that?
Well, and enterprise architecture is combining some of the SPM stuff with the APM.
Yeah, that's a natural progression. I can see that. Cool. All right. Well, I think we're at the end then. I really appreciated everybody hopping on. Thanks to everybody listening in, asking all the questions. If you see me out and about, then feel free to say hey, and I'll definitely stop, make time to talk to you. Unless I'm going to a session, in which case I'll say, hey, let's connect. I'll show you. You can put my QR code on your phone, and we can connect when we're on the floor. I do block off a good amount of time on the expo floor, so we can meet and talk. And
Chris, can I bring up one more quick topic?
Of course.
Not related to anything ServiceNow. I'm just curious what their other folks' take is.
Sure.
Food. What do you do about food? I'll give you my take. My take is I don't want the stuff that was prepared for 20,000 people 2 days before the conference. I'd be happy to just walk out to the food court and grab a slice of pizza. At least I know it's fresh. Anyway,
that's
what
fair.
do you guys think? I know it's paid for, but
one interesting thing what I saw last time is that on the expo floor they gave those quick bites, the sandwiches and the drink. But if you go down, and this was especially last year, because the year before last I did not see. There is, if you go to the first floor, I guess there is the place we have breakfast. They have a nice buffet spread out, and I think.
Oh, you're talking Grand Lux?
And no, not Grand Lux. It is in the expo only.
Yeah, it's inside
in the conference
on the first floor.
Oh yeah, downstairs where you get your badges and whatever.
And it was really good food. I mean, they had an Indian food on Wednesday, and I really liked it because I was on the second floor doing my expo thing. Somebody came up, hey, do you know there is Indian food? And I'm an Indian. I like the Indian spicy food, and it was really good, really good. And then I think they had Mexican as well last time. So do definitely take time to go to the first floor and enjoy that food.
Okay. See, I learned something. That's good.
Yeah,
and
you
for
can
the
check
first
that out.
timers, it's like you just got to know where to go.
And don't think sometimes on these food that you could just rock up and grab something in 2 seconds. Sometimes there's a line to get the plate, and then sometimes that can chew.
And sometimes you have to have the right credential to get in there and
right.
whatnot there too. That there are certain areas for other people. So we've in the 2 years that I've been there, free food to me is like, really, there's free food there, because it's a foreign concept. But part of that, I've spent a lot of time with the folks from the company and with customers, is we would take a customer out to lunch at one of the various restaurants around and whatnot. And because it's a customer engagement and whatnot, then you can put it on your corporate card and write it off as a business expense and all the rest of that. So there are ways to do that there as well. So that's really been more of my experiences, is I've gotten to many of the restaurants around Restaurant Row on really both floors, and gotten the experience in that way.
Yeah, definitely look and see. You can plan with Open Table, I think, on a bunch of the restaurants in the Venetian and other places. Yeah. So make sure that you check if there's space, so that you're not spending 30 minutes standing in a line waiting to get in, and then they tell you, oh, it's another 45 minutes for the table. I know that when we went to Grand Lux, which is a restaurant inside the Venetian near the conference, Mark, I made sure to book that time so that we could just get in it when we needed to and get out, so you don't miss a session and things along that line. So you want to make sure that you plan the food piece. I'm kind of on the same page as you, Greg. In a pinch, I will go to those places. I'm going to check out your buffet, Abhishek, though. But yeah, I'm usually like, not for me. So that's, and I like some stuff that's super basic, right? So you put mustard on that sandwich, I'm like, damn it, I'll eat it. But yeah. Oh, so Daniel has a question before we break, saying, any ideas if ServiceNow might start giving knowledge attendees some swag again?
They've had a ban on it because people would crowd certain booths in certain areas and all the rest of that, and it winds up getting too expensive. Now, ServiceNow themselves give swag out. That's one thing, but from a partner standpoint, we really are not allowed to do that. So, like some companies will try and, I won't say get around it, but be creative with it. Like I've seen some booths where you can bring like your water bottle up, and they'll have an artist, decorate your water bottle, but you're not giving away anything logoed or swag at that point. But
I saw some, to be honest, that straight broke that rule last year, and I was like, oh.
They had this thing last time where you can pay and get some swags from ServiceNow.
Yeah, they had a store. There's a store.
Yeah, they have a store
there where you can go buy ServiceNow stuff if you're interested. Now, that's another good point. Try and go there right away, because there's limited stock. So if you want to make sure you get your size and the stuff that you want, if you're going to go buy it from the store, go there early, because there will be limited selection.
And like any vacation, make sure that you got room in your suitcase to bring it home.
That's true,
right? Because that's the other piece.
That's
too.
True.
Because a lot of folks, and I don't know about you guys, but let's talk travel here real quick. I have to make at least one connecting flight, so I don't pack a checked luggage. I only try and get everything I can into a carry-on, because I don't want to risk not having, shoes or my suit coat or whatever, because it got lost in transit. So how much do you guys really pack or overpack when you're going out there?
I'm crazy. I pack 2 large suitcases and 2 carry-ons. So, but that's for Kathy and myself. So my wife comes up, but that's why. But yeah, I know. I need to have overpack. So I spill on myself. So there are times it's like, oh, there's coffee. Turn around, head back to the room, change shirts. So I have a ton of backups. stuff like that.
I do the same thing like you, Chris.
Yeah.
I have a big bag with my suits and my sneakers and my shoes, the proper ones. I keep a lot of clothes because
But a
I also
connecting flight changes that. I don't have
they change
I'm
it.
direct, thankfully.
Mhm.
So, you know what? The app on the airline we take now it
Mhm.
tells you where the bag is.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's like bag has been checked. It's loaded. It's on the thing. It's on the card. It's on the plane. The only thing though that makes me even more neurotic than I am is when you don't get the notification, and it's like, whoa.
Oh, what happened? I keep the air
Right?
tags inside the bags for that reason.
Do you? So I had it where it didn't give me the notification, and the bags did show up, thankfully. So, but I was like that. I'm like, oh my God, so much more comfort on it. But then suddenly you're refreshing. Where is it? Where is it? Well, we're on the runway. I hope. I hope it's good. I also like to pack like a just in case it doesn't arrive stuff in the carry-on as well. So one whole outfit, and then if worst case scenario, we'll have to go and go to Target and grab some more t-shirts or something like that. So yeah, okay, well, that's all great. Thank you all so much for joining. Again, looking forward to seeing you all. There is a CMA gathering on the Tuesday night, so looking forward to shaking hands again in person and meeting some new ones, and we'll welcome the new cohorts in, right? So that's
Absolutely.
exciting. And I hope also that anybody that took a retake gets their news next week and then is able to come to it. But I know that week 4 started today after they've taken it. So, hold on. One last question. Nice to see. Oh, thank you so much. So she's just very, hold on. Rowena, she's got a big thing. Let's see if it can show up. Oh, she's saying that she's from the Provinity booth. Yes, so they're booth 4474 at the Knowledge Conference. We'll post a link to that in our comments on the video as well. Also, Mark Abhishek, please send me your speaking ones, links to those events, so I can put those in the comments as well. You can all then add them to your itinerary, or at least mark them as a favorite, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any parting words of wisdom?
No, comfortable shoes. Let's
forward
start
to
go right back there. That's the number one thing.
Yes,
If you
always
get that,
the
nothing
shoes.
else. If you remember nothing else, remember that.
All right. Well, go ahead,
and,
Mark.
and don't plan to do anything the weekend afterwards,
God,
because the other between being exhausted, and I know we are in a post-COVID world and all the rest of that, you will likely pick up something while you're there. Hopefully you don't, but there's been a lot of cases where people go to Knowledge and they come back and they're sick a couple of weeks afterwards. So just be prepared that you're going to need that weekend to recover, and take what precautions you can before you go.
Speaking of that, I hand sanitize after every handshake, so it is not personal. if you see me do it, it is to avoid that exact thing, because you get sick. You can't get sick easily when there's that many people together. So yeah. Okay. Well, thank you again, everybody. I really appreciate you all tuning in. Thanks to Mark and Greg and Abhishek for joining us and sharing the wisdom. We'll look forward to speaking to you all again on the next episode after Knowledge. I don't know if it'll be about that. We'll figure something out. It'll probably be on, I don't know, AI stuff. Maybe we can hear more about the apps that you guys are building. Yeah, agents. All right. Well, thanks again. Really appreciate it. Have a great day. And yeah, we'll all see you.